Hi you guys, happy Monday. Today is the day we get to start our new math unit. And in our new math unit, what we're doing is we're working more on adding two-digit numbers. So finding the total when we're adding numbers that have two digits. Now we've done this before. We did this, I think, back in January and a little bit in February. But what we were doing is we were adding numbers where we didn't need to do something called grouping. And that's a big difference that we're going to start with this unit, is we're going to start adding two-digit numbers when sometimes we need to group, and we'll talk about what grouping means. Now, what will help your parents is when you look at your math book and you get to this page, you'll realize there's a parent letter here. It's page 241. And it explains to your parents the three different main ways that we're going to look at adding two-digit numbers together. We'll get on to this week, but basically we'll be putting a new 10 above, which is this one. Oh, sorry, that one. Putting a new 10 below, or this one, which is called the show all method, which will look pretty new to parents because a lot of our parents never learned that method, but it's actually really cool. So today we are talking about picking apples, and I am working on page 243. And what you'll notice is that I got out my secret code cards again. We're not really using our secret code cards today as much, but I just want to start having you remember about how numbers that have more than one digit are made up of tens and ones. So if we look at this number 28 and we pull it apart, we realize that the 2 in this place right here in the tens place is 20 because it's actually two tens. 10, 20. And then in the number 28, if we pull the ones out, we realize this number 8 is actually 8 ones. So 28 is made up of two tens and 8 ones. And we're going to be thinking about that every time we add two-digit numbers because we're going to be drawing pictures. And today we're drawing circles to represent apples, and we'll draw each circle. But tomorrow I'm going to start showing you, we're going to go back to drawing numbers, drawing that number in 10 sticks and ones, which we'll get to tomorrow. So let's go ahead and let's look at page 243 together. So page 243 looks at Uncle David. Let's pretend that we're at a farm, and Uncle David has an apple tree that has 28 apples on it, and Aunt Sarah has an apple tree that has 16 apples on it. We are going to go ahead and we're going to pretend like they want to see how many apples they have all together if they both pick all the apples off of their trees and put them into boxes. But Uncle David and Aunt Sarah don't really want to count their apples by ones. They don't want to just count them all up by ones. That would take too long. So instead they're going to use their boxes to help them. Now each of their boxes is a 10 frame, which we've used 10 frames a lot. And 10 frames are just, there's 10 spots in each box for their apples. So the first thing that we're going to do to figure out how many apples Uncle David and Aunt Sarah have all together when we count them and put them together, that's what we're doing when we're adding, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick the apples, boop, 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 off the trees and put them in our 10 frames. So let's go ahead and start with Uncle David's apples. He has 28 apples. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill up all of our 10 frames first and put our extra apples on this line. So let's go ahead and just start counting and draw one circle for each of the 28 apples that Uncle David has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So far I've put 20 of Uncle David's apples into the boxes, but I still need to keep going until I get to 28. Remember that 28 is 20 plus 8 extra ones. So these 8 extra ones, they won't make a new 10. So I'm just going to put them off to the side because remember, 20 is the 2 10s, 1, 2, plus 8 extra ones. So I'm at 20. I'm going to keep counting and put the 8 extra ones over here. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Oop, you guys know how I love to group things in 5 groups. 26, 27, 28. Okay, so now I'm showing that I plucked all of Uncle David's apples, 28 to be exact, 10, 20, plus 8 extra ones. And I even showed my ones in 5 groups. And I'm gonna want you guys to try to do that because it will make it much easier when we're trying to see if we have enough extra apples to make a new group of 10. So make sure that you're showing them in 5 groups. So 5 and 3 make 8, just like our secret code card. Here we have 5 and 3 more, and that makes 8. So keep your apples and your circles that are your apples all neat for your numbers. Let's go ahead and do Aunt Sarah's apples. Aunt Sarah has 16 apples on her tree. So when I think of the number 16, I'm thinking that this one in the tens place is actually worth 10, right? And it's actually 1 10 stick. The 6 extra ones are just looking like that in a 5 group with 1 extra one. So let's go ahead and let's count Aunt Sarah's apples as we fill up the first box of 10 and we put the extra ones over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to put the extra ones over here, and because I have a good knowledge of 16 being 10 and 6, I know the extra ones is going to be 6. But let's go ahead and just count up. We're at 10. We need to get to 16. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so now I'm showing all of Uncle David and Aunt Sarah's apples. And if I look, 28 plus 16, remember I want to combine them because I'm adding them together. When we count something all together, we're doing addition. We're adding it. So I can already see that I have 10, 20, 30. I have 30 boxes of 10 there. But what I want to know is when I have Uncle David's extra apples along with Aunt Sarah's extra apples, do I have enough to make another box of 10? So let's look at this. I have 5 and 3 and I have 5 and 1. Oh, I know already 5 and 5 make 10. I can even count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to go ahead and circle those to show that that would make, those 5 and 5 would make another box of 10. Like that. So now I actually see from my drawings that I have 1, 2, 3, and then this new box that I could make of 10 right here, 4 boxes of 10. The ones I have left over, 1, 2, 3, 4 apples, 4 are smaller than 10. I can't make a new box of 10 with those 4. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show what their apples look like when we put them together now. So I'm going to take these pictures up here and I'm going to draw them out here. So I want to fill in my 4 boxes of 10 to be all of their boxes together. I'm just moving the boxes down here so that we can look at them all together to see that when we put their boxes together and see how many we actually have 4 boxes. Just do these quick circles. You don't need to color them in. Remember, math circles, we want to be fast, but we also always want to be neat. So now I've transferred and I moved these boxes here down here. So Uncle David, his 2 boxes, Aunt Sarah's box here, but then when I put their extra apples together, I was actually able to create another box of 10 apples. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4 apples, 3 of Uncle David's and 1 of Aunt Sarah's. Don't make a new 10, so I'm going to put those extra to the side. So now, without counting by ones, I was able to combine and find out how many apples did Uncle David and Aunt Sarah pick today. Well, they picked 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes of 10 and 4 extra ones. So if I'm counting that by tens and ones, I go 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. They actually packed up 44 apples. Okay, and if I was using my secret code cards, what that would look like was this. Your 4 tens, remember, 4 tens is the same as 40, but when we have ones, that goes right over the 0 in the ones place, and now I see I have 44 apples. All right, let's go ahead and look at the back side. Let's pretend like a couple weeks have passed and Uncle David and Aunt Sarah look at their apple trees again. Now, Uncle David is wanting to pick his apples and he has 26 apples on the tree. Aunt Sarah wants to pick her apples and she has 20 apples on the tree. So we're going to do the same thing. First, let's go ahead and show each of their apples as we pack them into the boxes which hold 10. Okay, so 26 for Uncle David. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and I want to put my extra apples here. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So Uncle David's apples are 26, which is 2 boxes of 10 and 6 extra ones. Now I'm going to go ahead and take Aunt Sarah's apples, 20, and put them into boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. She doesn't have any extra apples. She just has 20, which is actually a decade number, right? When we're adding a number that ends in 0, it's a decade number. Now, I want to know how many we have all together if we combine Uncle David and Aunt Sarah's apples and we count them all together. You guys actually learned how to do this a different way. We can still keep doing it this way, but because Aunt Sarah's number is a decade number, a lot of you are really good at just counting up by adding tens. So if I have 26 of Uncle David's apples, a lot of you do a good job of just counting up, adding a 10 from 26. So you could go 26, which is Uncle David's, 36, 46. And guess what? That's how many they have all together. But if that's still hard for you, we can definitely keep using our picture. So we're going to go ahead and take these boxes of 10 and move them down to how many we have all together. So I'm going to fill my 4 boxes of 10. Remember, each of these boxes holds 10. And we want to fill them all of the way. So first I filled 2 boxes for Uncle David's, and then I'm filling the 2 boxes of 10 for Aunt Sarah's. Now, Aunt Sarah didn't have any extra apples that didn't go in a box, but Uncle David did. He had 6 extra apples. Remember our 5 groups, 5 and 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right down here, 5 and 1. So now this is the picture that actually shows both Uncle David and Aunt Sarah's apples all together. So 26 was Uncle David's plus two more boxes of 10, 20. And how much does 26 plus 20 equal? 10, 20, 30, 40, plus 6 extra ones. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. So 26 plus 20 equals 46. And we do that by thinking of the two-digit numbers and tens and ones. And we did that by packing boxes of 10, and then putting extra ones to the side. Tomorrow I'm going to show you how to do that by drawing tens and ones in a picture that will take less time than showing each of these 10 apples individually. The main thing that you need to remember is that these boxes of 10, tomorrow when we start using it, we're going to start thinking of it as a 10 stick. Remembering that a 10 stick is made up of 10. If I count each of these, there's 10 together to make a 10 stick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? If you don't even have these, as we move forward, sometimes we're going to be drawing pictures, and I think the pictures will work. But remember that a fun way you can practice numbers, two-digit numbers with tens and ones, is by looking for anything you have. Like I could use pretzel sticks for a 10 stick. I could use toothpicks. For my ones, which we don't need today, but remember at school we used unit cubes that look like this. I'm going to be using circles to be my ones on all of our pictures this week, but if you ever want to have fun and show it with something that you can actually feel and move, you can use marshmallows for your ones. You could use chocolate chips for your ones. I've used Cheerios before, or Fruit Loops for my ones. So there's a lot of ways that we can show two-digit numbers. But that was our first lesson today for Monday, adding two-digit numbers, and we're going to learn a lot of different ways we can do that. We'll call them methods or strategies, and you just practice them and then decide which strategy you want to use when it's time to add two-digit numbers. All right, you guys, that is all for our Monday math lesson. Have a great day. Bye.